All right, welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be talking about the markets. So
One
look,
of those days, dude.
so we
Can't
had,
really fixate on like any new coin, There's too much on my mind.
yeah, there's quite the dip here.
Yeah, but we were kind of expecting it. I mean, I definitely was.
Yeah,
Maybe this video is a little premature. Then I don't know. It depends. Like,
yeah. I mean, you and I were having a little debate as to how low this thing's going to go, and it's really hard to say. It's hard to predict what's going to happen here, just because there's new elements, new variables that weren't present in the past, and
yeah,
one of
such
those
as what, like institutions, I guess,
institutions, yeah.
and just big money players is what you're saying.
So
Yeah, I guess I guess everyone assumes like now that we have big money and like they're unwreckable forces, I guess. Like they're not like you and me, like they're not allowed to take 90% losses, is what you're saying?
Well, you know what? I think with these huge institutions going in, I don't think they're trading this thing.
No, they're not. Of course not.
So they're going to take the 90% losses.
That's what I'm saying. So like I think that narrative people are bringing up is part of the delusion and euphoria that people kind of like paint, subscribe themselves to kind of like make themselves think there's no downside to this. Now
Well,
I'm not saying we're at that point like we're 90% down from here. I don't think we're and we got plenty of evidence we're about to go through to support why I don't think that's happening yet.
so talk through why. Let's say, let me go back to Bitcoin here. Let's look at when Tesla was buying their Bitcoin. It was within this blue box here. That's when they were buying, right? And then the announcement was somewhere. So talk through. Let's say Tesla bought Bitcoin around an average price of 35,000. So people would argue that that's the bottom price of Bitcoin from here on out. Talk
Okay.
through why that might not be the case and explain how it's possible that we could see, a $20,000 Bitcoin at the bottom, of the bear cycle next round.
Well, dude, nobody knows what the bottom is.
Well, I'm talking about functionality. Like functionally, if these Bitcoins that Tesla bought are off the market and you and I are still trading Bitcoin on an open market, right? You could still see a $20,000 Bitcoin at the bottom of the next cycle, or
Mhm.
this coming at the end of this cycle.
Actually, yeah, we don't know.
And the reason is because you and I decide what the price of Bitcoin is. If I decide to sell it at 20,000 and you decide to buy it at 20,000, well, that's the price of Bitcoin. Because Tesla's Bitcoin is not up in the market, they're going to take the 90% hit that we keep talking about.
Yeah, just because that's what we've seen historically. So, I mean, yeah, by them not actively working to, uphold the market and to prevent it from hitting these like historic lows that we're used to. Now, in order for that to happen, Tesla would have to act as some type of like Federal Reserve type mechanism, and they have to just continually pump money, liquidity into this market, buy up
Yeah,
everyone panic selling. But that's not possible. They don't have that kind of liquidity
infinite
reserve
funds. Yeah.
allocated to Bitcoin. Like they're not in the game of preserving the value of Bitcoin, dude. Like that's not what Tesla entering this market means. Like
Yeah.
they're not here to save all of our funds. Like
Right.
fuck that, dude. That's delusion. That's what I'm talking about. People think that's what's gonna happen. They think, oh, only up from here. We'll never go down. If we do, Tesla will save us because they're too over leveraged. They're not. They barely allocated probably 1% of their reserves to this shit. Like they're not over leveraged. They don't care. They're not paying attention to the price of Bitcoin. They have other things they're worried about. That's the point of this. You don't over leverage yourself in this market. So the price fluctuations don't mean anything to you. That's the point. That's literally what they're selling to corporations all over the world. And yeah, they'll buy into it because it makes sense. You don't over leverage yourself, but you expose yourself to this non-correlated asset class. That's it.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
don't be disillusioned by all this, man. Like I don't know how else to say it. Like I don't know. There's just too much euphoria, too much. I don't know. The narrative's getting too crazy, I think.
yeah, I mean, all this is to say is that just because Tesla bought Bitcoin at 35,000 doesn't mean that's the bottom. It just means that that's the price that they got in, and because they're not over leveraged, they really don't care what this number says.
At the end of the day,
They got an asset that's uncorrelated to a certain extent, and that's the point of getting into Bitcoin.
yeah, the only thing that's going to drive these prices up and down is sentiment, like it always has, and
Right.
that's never going to change. Currently, sentiment's good. Everyone's very overly bullish, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and
Very
then take
bullish.
a look at this dip that occurred. This wick, I guess some would say stop loss hunting, and then it
Uh,
just completely bounced off this support here, I guess.
this line is what I guess we drew up this line like a couple weeks ago, right? Like,
Yeah, this we drew this when we noticed the RSI was on a downtrend and the price was going up, which is
Yeah.
an indicator of a bearish divergence. And at that time, it was incorrect. This could mean a bunch of things. It could mean that there's new elements, new variables into the market that's like allowing this to like diverge, or it could mean that technical analysis is just a bunch of BS.
Yeah, I don't know which one's true.
Yeah,
Regardless. So for sure there's been like some cases of what is this, Ethereum or Bitcoin?
this is Bitcoin.
I like Ethereum's a little bit better. It's you can kind of see it, the bounces. You have it highlighted too. Yeah, so I mean, within the last couple of weeks, we've seen a couple of times where it tested this support line and has bounced off of it. So I don't know. It's just something to keep an eye on, man. Like, a lot of people are buying the dip today. If you were awake and alert during that time when it touched that support line, this is a good opportunity to buy. But you never know. If it breaks down, I think there's still room to go down. Based off of the stock to flow model. If you look at it, we're like way overextended.
So yeah, we're looking at the stock to flow model for Bitcoin, and we are overextended. But if you go back to 2013, this was way overextended for a long time.
Yeah, that's what's screwing up my mind so much, dude. Everybody keeps again this narrative like super cycle, just like 2013. So everything we're seeing is like it's falling in line with that narrative, right?
So this, yeah, adds fuel to the fire that potentially because of these institutions, which is the new variable into the market, is going to keep these dots above this blue line, the stock to flow prediction, right?
Yeah.
If everything was perfect, the price of Bitcoin will follow this blue line and just continuously go up. And this would be like the best investment, the most obvious no-brainer investment of humanity's existence. But that's not the case, right? Humans is what governs the price, and therefore that's why it fluctuates
As it should.
as it should.
So what this means in the short run, I mean, I think it's okay to kind of mimic what we saw in 2013. I think we're at like around the
Yeah, so what we're predicting is we're going to stay above this blue line, but we're going to see maybe a 2 to 3 month correction where it just potentially, yeah. If it doesn't do this, that's because of the new variables potentially.
I don't think we just keep going up. And I think all of us, we want to see a correction. Like for those of y'all who are just hoping like we don't see this correction, like just keep in mind, like go back to the current day stock to flow. Can you see that?
Yeah.
There was another chart you were showing me earlier, like how we're super close to maybe it's like Willy Woo's chart or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how close we are to Willy Woo's prediction model. Like every time we hit the top range of that channel, it's like a sell indicator, right? Because it's never reached that point. So if we continue on today's like trajectory, like we're gonna hit that within the next month or two.
Yeah. So exactly, if we were to hit its predicted peak right now, the peak would be at 108,000. But if we hang out here for the next 8 months, right? Give it time.
Yeah.
This curve that you see here, this green line, is on its way up. So if we ever touch this green line, that is the top of the top.
And that's when you'll see us on here like screaming like at the top of our lungs, like get out, get out, boys and girls, dude. Like if you know it's good for you, or will we even see that? That's the thing.
Oh, we will. I mean, as soon as it gets like really close, like what difference does 10K here or there make? We will see it. We will see it touch at some point.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine what that's gonna feel like, dude. Yeah. Like the anxiety and the rush.
Yeah.
Who's there?
Yeah.
But dude, we have to. Like, this is our Bible this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
These price models here, because I mean they work. Look at that. Look how successful they've been. And so that's what I'm saying. We're already way too close at too early of a time. Like it's not optimal. Like if we want to see a $200,000 to $300,000 Bitcoin, then we need it. We need this correction to happen now in order for that to be the case. If these new indicators or new variables, these new variables are so impactful that like we just keep going up, then this market's not going to be long living.
Yeah,
it's going to be cut too short. That's all I'm saying.
And so this purple line is called the CVDD, which we've talked about in the past before. It's called the cumulative value days destroyed. Has historically picked the bottom of the market. When coins pass from an old investor to a new investor, the transition carries a USD value and also destroys an amount of HODL time by the previous holder. CVDD is the cumulative sum of the value time destruction as a ratio to the age of the market and divided by 6 million as a calibration factor. Clearly, Willy Woo has been doing some math here. If you go back, and let me zoom into the peak and the very bottom of the last bear cycle, it peaked out at 20 grand, right? It barely touched it, and then it crashed for roughly 2 years, and it bottomed out, and it bottoms out and touches the CVDD at 3,181. So when you and I started this podcast, like soon after, like somewhere around here, that's when we
Yeah.
started the podcast, this channel. You know, we were having a debate. Is like, is this the bottom? And we didn't have this chart. I don't even think this website existed. This would have told us specifically, is like, yes, this is the bottom. And so now that we have these tools, we can go into the future and see that we're nowhere near the top.
We can't actually go into the future though, right?
No,
Like,
we can't. But this is the future in relative sense to when we started the podcast.
Yeah,
right?
so it's kind of like these lines are just, they're taking the data of the past and kind of like guiding us
Yes.
in the present.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, we have to rely on these fucks, dude.
Yeah, so if it were to hit at all-time high today, it would be 108,000. If it would crash completely, it would hit the bottom of 7,000. So
Yeah.
as time continues, this green line trends up, and this
Mhm.
purple line also trends up. So the
Yeah.
bottom crash price is always going up, and the top is always going up. So eventually, market sentiment would get so euphoric that it actually touches the green line, and it gets so desparish that it actually touches the purple line.
Heavy despair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is good then. What we're seeing in the markets today, the sell-off, don't
Yeah.
panic. This is to be expected. This is part of it. You know, yeah, the market is definitely it feels overextended. Just like
Well, yeah, let's talk about those examples. Why CryptoPunks?
yeah, NFT. If you're in the NFT space, and pretty soon we'll be talking a lot more about NFTs. But you know, basically there's just digital assigning of ownership to anything really. But
Yeah.
currently right now it's digital content like
Like art,
yeah,
pixel art, digital art, and
So-
in some cases, like 3D models, right?
Mm.
3D models in the game space. Take a look at this. Generally, the bottom for these CryptoPunks today is around 20 ETH. So we're looking at what, roughly 15, 20 grand or more now. This is what's going for, you know, $1 million for some of these CryptoPunks, right? This is it.
I think we've seen like 1.5 million sales of some of these, like ultra rare. So what are they? I mean, I think there's only about 10,000 in existence. So I don't know. They were made several years ago as
Yeah,
like the first,
Before the ERC 721 standard.
exactly. So there's some historical value to them in that sense, right? Like, you know, I don't know if like pieces of like internet history are selling for anything in the realm of this range. I can't think of anything. Like,
Yeah,
is there like
there's-
an old like server like out there somewhere
Definitely
that
not.
people are bidding like tens of millions of dollars for? I don't think so. But regardless,
Maybe the first Mac computer.
that you're probably lucky to get 50K out of that or something.
Probably,
you know?
yeah.
So that's kind of like my point. Like this specific NFT market and this specific brand of NFT has gotten so out of control. You know, whether or not it's purely market driven, some people are speculating there's some wash trading going on, like within the, you know, like I don't know, whoever's controlling this market potentially. I mean, it's doable, dude. If you look at the total volume, what's that, 91 million?
91 million, yeah.
That's not that much. That's definitely a market size that's like easily manipulatable. So regardless, like this is just one of the indicators that you look at and you're like, man, these things are just so overvalued. Bitcoin at its current price today is so overbought. You know, we've never seen Bitcoin this overbought, I don't think. Like,
No, definitely not.
feels overbought. Not saying like this is the top, just saying like today it feels overbought. Just because we haven't seen that significant pullback in a year. It's been a year of like nonstop.
Yeah.
Just
Heater.
up. Yeah, dude. And I don't think we have this pulled up, but historically March is like the worst month of the year.
Yeah, how can I find that? It's
Just on a Discord, I posted it yesterday.
I
So
can't-
yeah, for those of y'all, we were talking about this pretty much all day yesterday and probably the day before in our Discord, speculating back and forth with the community whether or not, you know, now's a good time to be selling, or at least like taking some profits, right? So join the Discord if you want to, you know,
Yeah.
discuss those kind of things.
yeah, I think it might be this.
Yeah, there we go. Where's March at? There's March.
March, yeah. So 2012 through 2019, in general, it's a pretty much throughout the years it's been negatives.
I think, yeah. I mean, the green 2013 year is an outlier considering that was like a bull.
Still early, yeah.
Let's think about that then. 2013 was the outlier year because it was the super cycle year. So maybe 2021 also another outlier. Who knows, man? But all we have to do is go by this data. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
more than likely, March is a bad month according to this.
Man, it's so hard to know. That's why you can't be over leveraged. You can't like hinge your life on these numbers because it could be 186% or it could be negative 30%. You don't know.
Do with that information as you want. Damn, that one, what is that? Everything looks red like every month.
Yeah, it's just Bitcoin returns throughout the years. So people have come up with their own like metrics.
Okay, so they're all over the place.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
it is.
So here's a good one. BTC monthly performance. So in general, March has been pretty bad.
Yeah, except just don't forget 2313 exists because that one went crazy in March 2013, 178%. Holy crap! So, but yeah, but also keep in mind everyone's keeps correlating what's happening today in 2013. So who the hell knows, man? Maybe this thing does just only go up. I guess we're about to find out.
Yeah, this is it. And then the last crazy euphoric news is your boy Logan Paul outselling most of all of NFTs like for $4 million.
Yeah, he's cashing in on our euphoria, dude. Like, what a play by him. If you don't know what Bondly is, it's just another NFT minting platform and marketplace. But they've done the good job of onboarding, mainstream influencers and a mainstream demographic. And Logan Paul cashed in on this. He sold $5 million worth of what you're looking at. That's the NFT.
The image, yeah.
It's just that. You're owning that whenever you spend one ETH. Currently, or yesterday was $2,000. That. We'll leave that up to you. Is this like market adoption? Is this what's happening here? What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I guess people really like Logan Paul, so they're gonna wanna have one of his NFTs. I mean, I don't know.
I'm curious though, like how many of his actual followers bought this thing? I don't think any.
Well, I mean, he's got millions of followers, and there's only 2,000 of them, so I'm pretty sure there's a good 10,000s of these guys who are also into crypto.
Yeah, they figured out how to download a MetaMask and connect it to Bondly. Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe a healthy percentage. I don't think so though. I think the majority of them are speculators and they bought these things up and they're expecting them to just skyrocket in valuation, just like everything else has in the NFT space, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Practically anything. If you go to any NFT marketplace right now and you compare the valuations of the assets from now to 3 months ago, I mean, it's mind blowing. Actually, we should do that. We probably will do that. We'll make those comparisons for you. And we'll let y'all know because NFT art. Like you could probably like categorize us as like we were definitely haters, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
A couple months ago, we just didn't get it, and I still partly don't get it, but at the same time I do get it. So, and regardless of how you feel about it, there's a market there, and you need to pay attention to it.
All right, well that covers everything we want to go over today. Let us know what you think. Are you still bullish? Do you think there's going to be a correction, a multi-month correction coming for Bitcoin and the rest of the market? And make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner and also at MetaZone.io. And like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.
All right, peace out.